Hello and welcome to another Clay Creator build. Today's model is the Key Stage 1 version of our elephant, and I'm really hoping we can get your model looking something like this today. For the build, we are going to need our measuring spoons, creator card and tools. We'll need our pots of clay and, when possible, an airtight container just to help keep the model fresh as we're going along. You can use Tupperware, lunchbox, anything like that, like I say, just to help keep the model nice and fresh. Before we get started though, I'm going to go over the key facts of the elephant. Hopefully it'll have some information in there that will for you to take on board and learn, and you might be able to use that again with our activity sheets, word searches and crosswords. So fact number 1, elephants are the largest land animal in the world. Fact number 2, elephants live in Asia and Africa. Obviously they live in zoos all over the world, excuse me, but when they live in the wild, it is in Asia and Africa. Fact number 3, a female elephant is called a cow. Fact number 4, a male elephant is called a bull. And fact 5, a baby elephant is called a calf. Fact number 6, elephants are herbivores, and if you don't know what that word means, it means that they only eat plants and vegetables. And finally, fact number 7, an elephant uses its trunk basically to drink. It will suck up water into its trunk before it then squirts it or sprays it into its mouth. Okay, so that's the facts finished. On to the build itself. We'll start by measuring our grey clay, and we're going to use our measuring spoons and our white clay. We're going to do 2 number 5 measurements and a number 3 before we grab our black clay for that measurement. Okay, so give the clay a little stretch. Mine's a little bit tight, so I'm going to give it a little stretch. And like I say, 2 number 5 spoons. Fill them up so they're nice and level across the top of the spoons, not too much over the top. Something that looks roughly like this. I'm going to do that twice, and like I say, a number 3 spoon as well. That's the amount of white clay that we will need for our elephant. So number 3 spoon. And number 3 as well. Okay, white clay away in the pot. Keep it nice and fresh for the later on. Lid on. Okay, onto the black then. So the black is going to be a number 2 spoon measurement. Okay. Again, fill that up to the brim, not over the top. Okay. We'll mix all those together, so all 3 of those measurements can go together, and this will give us enough grey clay for the entire build. Okay, so I'm going to mix them together. Ooh. Once we've got these all mixed, all the white and black should be basically mixed in, and we should end up with a nice solid grey. And then from this grey, we're obviously going to measure out different parts for the body: head, ears, his trunk. There we go. Okay, so we've got a nice solid grey. And the first measurement we're going to do, we're going to go back to the spoons. We will need to save some in the airtight container we spoke about, but the first measurement for the grey is going to be a number 5 spoon and a number 4 spoon. Okay, so the same process as we did before. Level off in the spoon. So there's my number 5 and my number 4. So I'm going to put those 2 together, give them a little stretch and put them together. And my other measurement is going to be 2 number 3 spoons. So I'll do that as well. number 3. Number 3. So again, I've still got some spare clay. So if I put my 2 number 3s together as well, my spare clay I'm going to put into my airtight container now. Keep that fresh for later on. Lid on. Okay, right. So we're going to put these 2 parts together. The bigger ball, the first measurement, is going to be the body, and the smaller one is going to be the head. We'll start off with the bigger one, so we're going to do the body. So I'm going to try and get rid of all the lumps and bumps and lines now. Now I like to roll it in my hands. You can use a work surface or a table, whatever you want, to try and get a nice smooth round ball, and like I say, without any lumps or lines. We'll do the same with the head, and like I say, do whatever process is best for you, whatever is going to give you the best results. Anytime you're working with the clay, whatever works best for you. Okay, so I now have my 2. So like I say, body, head, I'm going to just gently place those together. Smaller one on the top, and just give them a little gentle push together, and they should stick together nicely. Now, if you are working on a work surface and you've pushed down a little bit, it's going to give it a little bit of a flatter bottom, which means it will stick and stay stationary, upright on the table. Okay, I'm going to now put that into my airtight container, and I'm going to take out that spare grey clay that we were using and do it this way. Okay, right. With this, the spare clay that we left over, then we're going to go onto our measuring card, and this time we're going to measure out a, oops, I'm just checking on here, a 2 centimeter circle measurement. So a ball that will fit inside that 2 centimeters. So I'm going to snap some clay off, roll it into a ball roughly, pop it on the card. Now as long as I can still see the outer line of that 2 centimeter, that will give us the right amount of clay. Remember, don't press down too much, you want it to be a ball. Okay, and again, fresh clay, I'm going to put that away for a little bit. Sorry, spare clay, keep it fresh. I'm going to use this measurement that we've got here. Okay, now we're going to cut this in half. As long as it's roughly in half, I'll use my tool. You can snap it with your hands, it's up to you. And like I say, get it as close to even as possible. Now these are going to be his ears, okay? Now the shaping we're going to do for his ears isn't too difficult. We're going to squish it down, but we're going to start off, as always, with 2 balls. Okay, we're going to squish them down, but we don't want just round circles. We want them to be a little bit pointy at one end. We kind of go for a teardrop sort of shape, okay? So I'm going to push down, make it a little bit flat. Same with the other one. Now we don't want it to be completely flat down to the point where the clay is splitting. We still want a little bit of thickness, if that kind of comes across right. And when I'm saying thickness, kind of like that, okay? Now all we're going to do then is kind of squish one end of this. So if I can bring it to the camera a little bit, I want one end to be squished a little bit. I'm going to just gently pinch the ends. Gives it the teardrop sort of shape, and then I can stretch it out again. We're kind of going for this sort of shape, okay? Now again, everybody's ears could be slightly different. It's not a problem. If you can imagine what an elephant's ear kind of looks like. And then all we're going to do is put them on either side of the head on our elephant. Okay? So back to the airtight container. I'm going to bring him out. Right. So the pointier ends that we've done are going to go on the actual head, and the larger parts will be there on the outside. Now there's no right and wrong how you put these on. They're going to go on either side, if you can see. I'm just going to kind of shape, mold them, stick them on a little bit, and give them a little press down. We should have something that looks like that. Okay. Now will be a good time to get a little mouth on him before the clay dries out too much. So on the head, and it doesn't matter which side you want to do this. And again, if you want to make him a happy elephant, I'm going to make mine a happy elephant. I'm just going to give him a little smile before we put his eyes and his trunk on there. Okay. All right. On to the next step then is going to be from the leftover grey clay that we've got. I'm going to fill up a number 1 spoon, and this is going to be his trunk. Okay. So again, as we often do and often mention, back to a ball. If we can start with the ball, it's the best shape to start from. And what we're going to do with this to make a trunk, we're going to just roll it out slightly. And the measurement we've said is roughly 3 centimeters on your measuring card. So all we're going to do from a ball, add a little pressure, and gently roll it into a little sausage. Now if you want to make this a little longer, it's fine. If you want to make it shorter, again, it's completely up to you. It's dependent on how you want your little elephant to look. And what a little trick I will do as well, because we want to give him a little kind of nostrils at the bottom of his trunk. All I'm going to do, once I've rolled it into the shape, I'm going to gently press down on the work surface, kind of gives it a flatter end. And then all I'm going to do is 2 little dots or little lines in that flat section to give it the impression of his trunk or his nostrils. And that is the end that's going to be further out. Again, I'm going to put some lines across the top of his trunk just for a little bit of detail, and I'm going to stick that just above his mouth, just gentle, trying not to squish the rest of the model whilst you're sticking extra parts on. And if you can see the little lines that I've done on the top of his trunk. Now as he dries, his trunk's probably going to drop a little bit, it's going to kind of droop. Same with the ears. So once we're finished building and decorating, if you want to lie him down, if you want to put him in a way, you want to lean something against to keep his nose, depends on what you want. If you want his trunk to drop, it's absolutely fine. If you want it to stay up, you'll perhaps want to leave something underneath to hold it in place. It is your elephant, you do as you wish. Right, a little tail, and then we're going to do his eyes. And when we say a little tail, all you need is literally a 0.5 centimeter measurement. It's going to be a tiny little bit, and all we're going to do is, again, from a ball, give it a little roll out into a little kind of sausage, and this is just going to go at the back of your elephant on his bottom. It's just going to stick out very slightly at the back. Also, that tiny little bit will also help keep him upright as he's drying. So decoration with his eyes then. We're going to do his eyes and then finally his tusks to make that to basically give him that final effect that we need. So any extra clay, pop to the side. I'm going to get the white clay out for his eyes. Now again, you can make his eyes as big as you want. I'm going to make them kind of small. I want him to have just little eyes. So I'm going to take a pinch of white clay, probably the same sort of size as the 0.5 measurement. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to split that. I want his eyes to be really small and delicate. So I'm going to take that 0.5 and I'm going to cut that in half. Now when we get to the decoration, you might want a little bit of help if it gets a little fiddly. I'm going to cut that again. So I get nice, small little eyes. And all I'm going to do then is press down gently, make them a little flatter. There we go. And then finally, all I'm going to do is add a tiny, tiny bit of black to those eyes. And it's going to be an even smaller pinch of black clay. And I'm going to put those little dots right in the middle of the white eyes that we've already done. going to make these really, really small. And then all we've got left to do are those tusks we spoke about. Put my eyes onto my elephant. So the eyes obviously just above his trunk. Oops, squashed his eye a little bit. Okay, so I've got them on now, just above his trunk. And like I say, all we're going to do now is his tusks, which are basically either side of his trunk. And we'll put that extra clay away. Okay. And his tusks, so his tusks are white. And again, it's up to you how big you want his tusks. I'm going to again do a smaller version and go from there. Excuse me. So roughly, I'm going to take the 1 centimeter ball on the creator card. So a 1 centimeter ball. I'm going to split that in half. So it's going to make it, basically that's going to be my 2 tusks. As long as they're pretty much the same sort of size, you'll get the same effect on the tusk. I might even split that in half again. Like I say, I like a smaller decoration. Okay. Now how we do the tusk is pretty simple. We're going to roll gently to make it into a small sausage. Not too long. And then all we're going to do, instead of doing an even press all the way along, we're going to kind of press down at one end a little bit more, but again evenly, to kind of make one end pointy. Again, if you don't get that right straight away, don't worry, try that again, try again, try again. Then all else fails, obviously you can ask whoever's there to help you today. So my tusk now has a little pointier end, and then all we're going to do, place them on the side, give them a little curl if you want. Giving my elephant its finishing touch. Okay, hopefully you've got something that looks like this. And that's him finished for now. It is time for free play. So your free play options are basically to add to him, build alongside him, maybe give him a little bit more of a unique look. I don't know, you might want to give him a hat. Some people like to give him glasses. Again, you can build babies alongside. Free play is time for you to basically use your own imagination. So the measurements are a number 3 spoon 5 times. You could use one of every colour, or obviously if you just want to use one particular colour, if you want to make some more grey, you'll need more white and black. Don't forget, if you're interested, to ask Mum and Dad to download our activity sheets, our word searches, crosswords, things like that. And if you are running low on clay, please visit claycreators.com/shop to order more. Okay, so thank you very much for watching today, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.